All right, you can all take your seats. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Anthony Crowell, the Dean and President of New York Law School, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to David Geffen Hall. We are one of the first graduating classes to hold a ceremony here, and it's an exceptional opportunity for us to celebrate. Who agrees with me that it's a beautiful day to graduate law school? I suspected that would be the case. I also hope you all had an extraordinarily good time at our rooftop graduation party last night. It was super fun. And now I have the great honor to call these 131st Commencement Exercises to order. We are now going to begin with a rendition of our national anthem, sung by John Christopher Lopez, a graduating member of the Evening Division. Please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner it wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, I think John Christopher nailed it. Fantastic. It was beautiful. You all started law school among the most challenging of circumstances. Your grit, tenacity, and grace have been on full display this whole time. And you all have achieved something that many others would not have had the courage or fortitude to even try. And for that, you have my deep admiration and respect. And supporting you all along the way have been your families and friends. It's really true. It takes a village to support a law student, from admission to school to admission to the bar, and this celebration is theirs too. Graduates, please give your loved ones a well-deserved round of applause. Before we go further, let me ask this year's Student Bar Association President, Nelson Melgar Martinez, also a... That's part of the village. Nelson's also a member of the Evening Division, and he is going to offer some welcoming remarks. Nelson?
Thank you, Grau. Thank you. Good afternoon, families, friends, and of course, my fellow graduates. Congratulations, we did it. Today, we are here to celebrate the class of 2023, to reflect on the last few years, and to give thanks to our professors and to our school. Law school is challenging. Yet the graduates before you rose to that challenge in the midst of a global pandemic, through uncertainty and loss, and largely deprived of the in-person community life that makes the process so much more bearable. There was no playbook for what we faced. Yet in the face of unprecedented circumstances, we learned, we adapted, we acclimated. Whatever the future holds, I know we're ready, for we now possess the skills and the tools to be champions of justice. And we owe New York Law School a debt of gratitude for giving us an extraordinary legal education, for pushing us to excel, and for giving us the resources we needed to become the best lawyers that we can be. Professors, thank you for teaching by example, for empowering us to meet opportunity with preparation, for daring us to be reformers, and for the lessons on mindful and competent lawyering. You always reinforce to us that all clients are not the same, and we owe it to them and to ourselves to treat everyone seeking our counsel with the dignity and with the respect that they deserve. Deans, administration, support staff, thank you for your guidance and zealous advocacy on our behalf, for your patience and understanding, and for your undeniable impact on our journey. And we owe it to our families, to all of you, our mentors, our friends, for supporting us every step of the way. It is no small thing to say that behind every single one of these graduates stands a support network, a strong support network, without which none of this would be possible. So thank you, really thank you, for standing with us, and for continuing to love us, especially now as our steps will become more complex and weighty. And on a personal note, I owe my place on this podium to my mom, who is here today, to change She changed her stars to give her boy a dream he could achieve. Gracias, Ma, por su infinito amor y apoyo. Le debo todo. Graduates, congratulations and best of luck. We did it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nelson, for your gracious remarks and for your wonderful leadership. Now let me recognize Arthur Abbey, the chair of our Board of Trustees from the class of 1959, and Mrs. Diane Abbey, founder of the Diane Abbey Law Institute for Children and Families. Thank you both for being here and for your tireless leadership, generosity, and kindness. I also want to welcome our wonderful trustees who give tremendous time, wisdom, and treasure to support this school and all of you. Our trustees are simply the best, and we should give them immense gratitude. Thank you. And soon we will be joined by our honorary degree recipient and keynote speaker, Governor Kathy Hochul. We're really excited about that. And I do want to give a special welcome to the Governor's Deputy Counsel, Pepe Cheng de Castro, a graduate of the class of 2000 from NYLS. She's a legal powerhouse in state government for many years and now working in one of the most coveted positions in public service. So welcome. I also want to offer a huge thank you to the entire New York Law School team, my faculty colleagues, our administration and staff, who got us all to this day. I value, appreciate, and respect all of you. Thank you. I do want to say that they deserve great recognition, both for the love and care they've shown to our students each day, and for never missing a beat in maintaining the excellence of our academic program, even in the worst of times. And I want to be clear, our faculty, yes, our faculty is the heart and soul and the connective tissue of this institution, every day, but particularly during the pandemic. And I want to give them special recognition. They work tirelessly. They work tirelessly to teach our graduates, to make them feel safe, respected, seen, and heard. I'm in awe of them, and I thank them for what they do. Thank you. And I want to recognize a giant among them, someone who is retiring this year, Professor David Chang, who's marking his 40th anniversary at New York Law School. Graduates, please stand and give Professor Chang and all your professors a special round of applause. And finally, we welcome a very special group of alumni, those who graduated 50 or more years ago. In addition to our board chair, Arthur Abbey, we welcome Joe Friedman from the class of 1958, Nicole Monteletti, class of 1964, Raymond Schwartzberg from the class of 1967, and Dennis Mallon from the class of 1968. And now to our graduates. I know how eagerly you have awaited this special day, and it's been quite a journey. The pandemic touched all of us deeply, from the immediate impact of attending school remotely to illness and loss of life in many families. Our lives were forever changed. And incredibly, the pandemic was but one of our many generational crises to occur over the past 4 years, all of them deeply affecting how you saw your mission, your experiences, and yourselves as individuals and law students, and now soon to be members of the profession. There have been countless acts of deadly gun violence, unjust policing, global conflict, economic uncertainty, the erosion of basic rights, and most recently, systematic attacks on intellectual freedom. Less than 1 year after the pandemic started, on January 6, 2021, there was an unprecedented and violent attempt to suppress a basic function of our constitutional democracy, the certification of the 2020 presidential election. It was an attack on the rule of law, on American values, and an affront to the very reasons you came to law school, to your identities, and to your futures. It exposed profound ignorance on how our democratic system works, and has given rise to many campaigns of disinformation. This lack of civic understanding has also enabled an increasing subversion of education and the exchange of ideas, including an epidemic of book banning across the nation. Nearly a third of book bans last year were the direct outcome of new state laws targeting specific subject matter, including race, ethnicity, and sex. In places where this is happening, it communicates to those with diverse backgrounds and identities that they are illegitimate and unwelcome, and it threatens to drive them into hiding or to simply make them go away. Remember that intellectual freedom and the development of personal identity go hand in hand, and restricting or abolishing access to books and stories that help us to understand our history, our human condition, and thus ourselves, undermines the entire premise of a democratic free society. And it gives rise to more events like January 6th. But that's where you come in. And it's why you are entering the profession at such an urgent and important time. Your success today powerfully demonstrates that you will be on the front lines of struggles being waged within courthouses, state houses, classrooms, boardrooms, and even at family dinner tables. Our law school is dedicated to the rule of law, which includes a solemn responsibility to do our part to uphold it. You must be defenders of democracy, seek truth in all you do, and help institutions and society at large separate fact from fiction and truth from treachery. Your class is truly remarkable. You are the most resilient graduating class I have ever worked with. And your class is also the most grateful. The gratitude you have shown comes from a hard-forged understanding of the unique opportunity and privilege you have had to be at law school during this historic time. And it will make you ever stronger, more thoughtful, and more tireless advocates. Because creating real and enduring change is very hard. It won't happen overnight. You can work a lifetime trying to achieve it. Courageous leadership, unbreakable integrity, genuine empathy, and an appreciation for the long game will allow you and our democracy to win out in the end. It simply has to. The history of our country's founding and all that has happened since, though imperfect, shows all the promise that the rule of law can hold and how far some will go to undermine it. Yet what is clear is that smart and forceful leaders who are responsible stewards of the law can make change and ensure that the rule of law protects the full spectrum of rights and dignity to which every single person is entitled. Our law school has been here for 132 years. Our 20,000 alumni have helped shape the city, state, nation, and world, and many, many have made history. And this year's graduating class is making history too, with women making up 60% of the class and 62%. That's right, 60% of this class and 62% of our entire student body. Like our history-making governor, all of you must hold on to your resilience and New York values. Be innovative, be low maintenance and high output, and carry yourselves with just a little bit of that famous New York swagger. What is swagger? South of arrogant, north of confident. I believe that we at New York Law School have done our jobs very well. And we believe in you. As you are welcomed into the profession, I know the responsibility you feel is great. But please know that I have never been prouder or more honored to be the dean of this school, or to do what we do, and to be a teacher, mentor, and friend to the most important group of new lawyers this institution has ever graduated, the class of 2023. And while we will miss you greatly, we'll always be here for you. And YLS should always feel like home, both within our walls and in the friendships and relationships you've established. We are family forever. Now, as you start what will be 40-year careers, yes, 40-year careers, and someday you'll be on that 50-year graduation list here in this hall, I want you to remember to please approach everything you do with an open mind, an open heart, and the goal to make things much better than you find them today. We are counting on each and every one of you. Congratulations to the class of 2023. Thank Thank you. Now I have the high honor and privilege of introducing our honorary degree recipient and keynote speaker. Governor Kathy Hochul is the 57th and first female governor of New York State. She began her career in public service on her local town board before serving as Erie County Clerk and as a member of Congress for New York's 26th Congressional District. As Lieutenant Governor, she chaired the statewide Regional Economic Development Councils and served as co-chair of the state's Heroin and Opioid Task Force, Women's Suffrage Commission, and Child Care Availability Task Force. Since being sworn into office in 2021, the governor has led by establishing a bold vision for New York's future. She has spearheaded comprehensive policies and initiatives to help New Yorkers and their families while making historic investments to build a stronger, more inclusive state. These investments include record funding for pre-K to 12 grade schools and higher education, $1 billion in comprehensive mental health care, a $32.8 billion plan to support major infrastructure projects around the state, increased contributions to secure long-term stability for the MTA and to save it from the looming fiscal cliff, a $25 billion housing plan to create or preserve 100,000 affordable homes, and billions of dollars to solidify New York as a leader on climate and clean energy. Governor Hochul has also taken critical steps to make New York a more competitive place, to grow jobs and drive economic growth by investing in small businesses throughout the state, expanding workforce development and job training, and helping working families fight rising costs by indexing the minimum wage to inflation. Last year, the governor announced that Micron, one of the world's largest semiconductor companies, will invest up to $100 billion over the next 20 years to create nearly 50,000 jobs in central New York, a pivotal agreement that will secure a brighter economic future for generations of New Yorkers. And in the wake of the US Supreme Court's decisions to strip away abortion rights and strike down common sense gun regulations, the governor led the charge to protect reproductive health care and strengthen gun safety laws, ensuring New York continues to stand as a beacon of hope and freedom for the rest of the nation. Governor Hochul was born and raised in Western New York. She and her husband Bill are the proud parents of 2 children and 1 granddaughter. Please join me in welcoming the governor of our great state, Governor Kathy Hochul.
I'll accept a degree as long as I don't have to take the bar exam again. Get that out there. Dean Crowell, thank you for the honor of joining this enthusiastic crowd. I've been listening to you from behind the stage. I think they can hear you all over New York City because you're so excited today. And thank you for your extraordinary leadership team during, as you mentioned, rather unprecedented times, and to have the support of a strong board led by Arthur Abbey and all the members of the trustees, the incredible faculty. I also had a chance to listen to Nelson Melgar Martinez's remarks and his love for his family and his story. So I'm really honored to be here. And I know you already got an opportunity to thank those who've been on this journey with all of you, your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, your partners, your spouses, sometimes your kids, brothers and sisters who had to endure you for many years. Let's just give them a heartfelt round of applause once again, because they have been on this journey with you from the beginning. This is my first law school graduation speech since becoming governor, and It is fantastic that it's happening right here in New York City, which is known to the rest of the world as the epicenter of progressive ideals. This is the place, and this is the state. You can give that a round of applause. I'm proud of it. Maybe that's why we have a little bit of that swagger that Dean talked about too, right? No other state can say that they're the birthplace of the women's rights movement, right? The birthplace of the NAACP right here in New York, civil rights. The birthplace of the LGBTQ movement right here in New York. The birthplace of the workers' rights movements right here in New York. As well as the birthplace of the environmental rights movement right here in New York. So take that, other 49 states. Can't. But becoming a lawyer in this city at this time doesn't let you off the hook. In fact, it puts a special weight of responsibility on your shoulders, because many of those movements I described were pushed and led to the courts, and won successfully by lawyers of their time. And so they may be some of the unsung heroes behind these movements, but they are absolutely instrumental in making sure that these movements became successful. And I want to talk about here today how you will contribute to that legacy of always pushing forward to make sure that what we do here in New York can be a beacon for people all across this country, because that's what we've always done. So, a couple thoughts for you. I know you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere until I leave. So if you wanted a lecture on how to make a lot of money as a lawyer, you might just put your iPods back in and just take a nap and listen to some music. But if you want to learn how not to make money, but how to make a difference, maybe we can have a conversation for a little bit. I'm not here to tell you how great you are either. I'm sorry. That's for your grade school teachers, your soccer coaches, your best friends, your parents. My job is to tell you how to be greater and to push yourselves to be greater. And that's what we're going to start talking about here today. I want you to view your own life in the context of very lofty aspirations. In fact, think about the purpose of your very existence here. And if I can leave you with a couple of thoughts that'll push you to strive to be a better citizen and ultimately a better person, then today will have been a success. And I'm going to tell you the path you chose is not the easy one. It is absolutely not. You think about all the hours you spent studying in high school and college and thinking about someday I might be able to achieve this. It was always elusive. You knew it was going to be a long journey, but I have to tell you that the hard part also is beginning. Because as a lawyer, you are conferred with additional responsibilities more than others in society. And why is that? Because you will take an oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. Most citizens do not do that in their jobs. That is something you will do. And what that says is you're no longer a bystander to democracy. You are sworn to uphold and protect it. And that is something that is worthy. It is not for everyone. And I would say, it doesn't say you can't challenge our institutions. It's all right. But do it in a lawful way. We've heard some descriptions of how that didn't happen from your dean and talking about what happened on January 6th. But most people will never view you the same again either. I'm not just talking about your really proud family members, but society looks at you differently because they know you have a special skill, a special talent. And what I'm doing today is calling upon you to use the power of that prestige, your own intellect, the power of having a degree from New York law. Use all of them as swords of justice to find your path to really make that difference. So whether you're practicing in a big law firm or in the DA's office, in the public defender's office, or a small firm, an advocacy group, and also doing pro bono work. Let me put the emphasis on pro bono work because there's a lot of people who need your help. Whether you're doing any of that, I view you as people who give hope to people who don't have hope. When they walk into your office, sometimes they're coming in great despair. Think about someone who's been the victim of domestic violence. My mother was an advocate to help protect victims of domestic violence way back in the 70s, when the laws were not there to help the women who were often abused. She was an advocate. She became a champion. She didn't even have her college degree yet, but she believed in a cause so deeply, she became an advocate. And we started a home for victims of domestic violence when my mother turned 70, because that's what she wanted for her birthday. That's the kind of family I come from. So think about survivors of domestic violence, or someone, a young person in a work environment that's being harassed by a boss or not being paid equally. They don't know what to do. They're going to turn to a lawyer who has the skills and the knowledge to help them have their rights protected. There's going to be families you encounter, maybe the parents, devastated parents of an overdose victim who want justice to make sure that their child didn't die in vain, and to have someone prosecute the dealers who killed their child. Think about the victims of a mass shooting. Their families want to get justice from the gun manufacturer that led to their demise of their loved one. There's so many different ways. There's countless ways that someone in search of help is going to find their way to your door. And you're going to open it wide. You're going to open it wide because you're going to realize that that is your opportunity to make a real difference. Because when you do that, first of all, it makes you a better person, but it makes society better and makes society stronger. I think back, this was a few years ago, there was a Muslim ban instituted by Donald Trump. I remember the images on television of tons and tons of attorneys getting on buses, taking the subway, taking Uber out to the airport to say, no, that is not who we are. We will protect your legal status. It was a shining time in our democracy. And I think today, of the thousands of people who've made a life-threatening journey, all the way up some places from South America, Central America, West Africa, they found their ways to the streets of New York City. And who are they turning to? They're turning to lawyers. You can walk out of here and celebrate today, but tomorrow, there's a legal aid society that needs your help to help these people receive legal status and allow them to be part of the fabric of this great, great world and great society we live in. And you're the embodiment of hope for so many people. There'll be countless ways you can help. And at minimum, as I said, you have to protect democracy. I'm not just talking about your obligation to vote, because you all better be voting. This is my mom voice, okay? You all better be voting. But also when there's threats to democracy, people who try to change laws, who try to strip away voting rights to make it inaccessible to others, you also now have the power with this degree to go to state houses and to courtrooms and try to really make a difference and say, no, 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 people fought too long and hard for these rights. You will not take them away from us. So I will say, you have a role to play in protecting democracy. So there's many ways that you can be protecting the voiceless, people without power, protecting our democracy, saving our democracy. But with this, as I mentioned, people are going to treat you differently now with this special status. But I'm also going to warn you, as much as you may be elevated in the eyes of society for attaining this degree, don't ever lose your sense of humility. You are not better than anybody else. None of us are. But when you lean into humility and keep your sense of empathy strong, you won't change as a core. Your core values as a person will stay the same. Simple acts of kindness, it makes so much of a difference when someone in your position, you're a lawyer in a big law firm, and you take the time to talk to the people cleaning out the trash cans late at night, or the person operating the elevator, or the person on the street corner, or the person driving your bus. Show people that you don't think you're better than them. Let's get back to that basic sense of decency toward each other. I'll never forget the night when I was working in the Capitol late, and the cleaning lady, cleaning custodian woman, Jackie was her name. Wonderful Jackie. She worked so hard every night. She always would peek around the corner to see if I was still there. I said, you come on in, you can come in, it's all right, it's all right. You gotta do your job. And one day she saw that someone had given me this rather flamboyant, colorful scarf, and she admired it. I said, Jackie, I think this would look really good on you. And she said, really? She took the scarf. And later at night, I looked out the window, and I saw her standing at the bus stop, twirling that scarf around. She was so proud. That moment made me happier than she must have been, because I realized I gave her something that was minor to me, but it made her feel valued. Those are the ways that you have to find every single day, that opportunity to make someone else feel better about themselves. That's the power you have. Don't lose that just because you're now a big shot lawyer. Don't lose that. Don't lose that. And as I mentioned, there's so many different ways to make a difference. Some of you will litigate. Some of you will advocate. Some of you will legislate. Some of you will agitate. I did it all. I agitated everybody. You should have seen me in my early days. And maybe you'll follow in the footsteps of your dean, Dean Crowell, a life of public service. And you can tell, I can just tell by the person he is how deeply he cares about all of you. That comes from a decision to spend most of his life making public policy and working in the halls of government to change people's lives through government. So I encourage many of you, whether you run for office or not, whether you help other candidates, support them, there is a role for you to play as well. But if you look for examples, you also might become a dean of a law school someday as well. You can also follow U.S. Supreme Court Justice John Marshall Harlan and become a judge, one of your alumni that you can look up to. Charles Phillips, the former CEO of Oracle, you can go into business, create thousands of jobs, and people have the dignity of a good paycheck. Or you can follow Pepe Chang de Castro. Pepe, where are you? I mean to embarrass you. One of your great graduates. You could also someday be legal counsel, advisor to the first woman governor of a state like New York, for example. That's what one of your alumni did. She sat right where you're sitting. Or you can follow the limelight and be just like Judge Judy, who was here last year. I get it. She's cooler than I am. I get it. I get it. But she's also shorter than I am. So if you thought I was short, you should check out Judge Judy, really. Nothing wrong with short. You know, my dream was to work for a senator someday. All I wanted to do was, I walked in the Capitol as a kid on a school field trip, and I wanted to work in that beautiful white dome building. Someday I was going to make a difference. And I wanted to work in Washington, and maybe I could write policy or do something important for a U.S. senator. By the time I was 27, after time in a law firm, law school, working for a congressman, I had the privilege of working for Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. So the point being, when I was 27, I was done with my career goals. But women did not think about running for office back then. Now I am so excited to see 60% of women out here. I think that's incredible. Congratulations to the guys, too. Don't want to leave anybody out. But when I was in my 20s, women didn't plan for a life in politics other than being the brains behind somebody else or writing a good speech or planning an event. You know, it was not within the realm of possibility. So I would say that just when I walked across the stage, and I'm going to say it right now because you can all look it up on ChatGPT, 40 years ago, I walked across the stage like this. And I did not know what my future would bring. There is no way I can tell you right now that I envisioned that I become elected official at the town level, the county level, member of Congress, lieutenant governor, and the governor of New York. So I say that only because you never know what life's going to bring. But be ready for everything. And the reason I stand here with this profound sense of optimism about your futures in this very moment, and the dean referenced this, my optimism is grounded in what you've already had to overcome. Now, everybody who graduates from law school, you've overcome a lot. I mean, the hours of study, the sacrifice, the perseverance to achieve something that is so elusive that's why it's such a small elite group of people, our lawyers of America. But having to endure that during a global pandemic, now we say this a lot, and you say, oh yeah, the global pandemic. I'm telling you, that rocked our country, our society, our healthcare system. It rocked us to our core. It challenged our ability to just manage a crisis that was unfolding before our very eyes. And meanwhile, you're trying to study to be a lawyer. I cannot imagine what that was like. I really can't. And to your faculty, teachers, mentors who looked out for you during that time, and you just didn't walk away. You didn't say, I can't take this anymore. At the same time, there's stresses at home. I mean, illnesses in your own family. We heard the sirens every night during that time, the fear. I'm sure there are many times you wondered, is it ever going to end? But you know what? The bottom line is you endured, you persevered, and you prevailed. And that is why, going forth, you will be able to handle every bit of life's adversity. I think about other generations. You're too young, but my grandparents were always talking about how we got through the Depression. You know, we didn't have any food. We walked uphill to school both ways, uphill, and all the stories. And I'm sure they were true. But then World War II on top of it. But you know what that did? It bound a generation together in a collective shared experience that they could draw on as they grew older. Just like the people in this room, the parents, remember when you say 9/11? That is another collective, seismic experience that shook us to our core, but it also gave us a chance to rebuild and lean on each other and treat each other better for a moment in our time. And to rebuild physically. Look at Lower Manhattan, it's spectacular. It's not a hole after all these 20 years. It is a shining beacon of democracy right across from the Lady Liberty and the harbor. That's what we do when we're knocked down. We come back stronger every single time, and that is now part of who you are. It is part of your identity as someone who graduated during this incredibly tumultuous time. But also, you've had a few other things go on while you're in law school. The dean referenced a couple of them, but you're not only just the first generation of lawyers to complete your education during a global pandemic, you're also the first generation to feel the effects of climate change with the extreme weather. But I also view you as the last generation to be able to do something about it. You're the first generation of lawyers to realize there are more mass shootings in this country than there are days of the year. That is a reality that other generations have not had to fathom. You're the first generation to see a rollback of women's rights and LGBTQ rights across the nation, starting in the Supreme Court. You're the first to see the rollback of those rights, not the progression, the march forward that we were always so proud of. And you are, of course, the first generation to witness an assault on our democracy and our nation's capital. All these are seared into your consciousness, but also who you are as a person today. And you look at globally, the first generation since World War II to see such acts of aggression by a nation like Russia against an innocent neighbor, Ukraine. You're seeing that unfold in real time. So all these will forever define you. Yes, they sound discouraging collectively, but in the context of history, they're also empowering. And I think back to all the life experiences of what was going on when I was younger, and I bear those today. They shaped me to be the person I am, just as those experiences have shaped you in ways you don't realize yet. I was the granddaughter of very poor immigrants from Ireland. They came here as teenagers, came right through Ellis Island. The only jobs were in the wheat fields of South Dakota, where my grandparents were migrant farm workers, until they got jobs as domestics in Chicago. Until that day when they heard about the promised land of Buffalo, New York, where you could make steel, which is why I'm from Buffalo and a lifelong Buffalo Bills fan. Sorry, Jets and Giants, I love you too. Someday if you play in the state, it'll make it a little bit easier. I always get in trouble when I say that. Never go off script, shouldn't do that. But that's where my family started. My family was lifted out of poverty. Even though my parents used to live in a trailer park, not exactly the most prestigious address, the trailer park is still there. I go back there often to remind me of where I came from and the people that are left behind. So those humble beginnings, but my parents had such a strong social conscience. Even though we didn't have much, we got our clothes in used clothing stores. We had a lot of kids, slept in the attic with a couple of brothers. We didn't have any heat up there. I didn't know the difference. But my parents had us bring in the children of the migrants, farm workers from the neighboring town. We brought in people, children with disabilities from the local institution, they were called. They brought in people who were poor and hungry because they always knew we had more. We had so many extra kids in our house, I didn't know which ones were my siblings or not after a while. But it reminded me of no matter what you have, there's someone who has less. And that's a lesson I use as governor today of how I can use that experience to know that my job is to help people who don't have what I had. So that influence on my life made a huge difference, but also only a few back here old enough to remember all this. What was going on in the world as I described all the turmoil in your world today, our world today? Back then, the country was divided. Divided over the Vietnam War, number one. I had 4 uncles serving, and yet I was out there marching with my parents to protest the war because we wanted to bring them home. It was a time of civil rights unrest. It was a time when we watched people that I knew from seeing them on television. Our own Senator Bobby Kennedy, running for president, assassinated. Dr. Martin Luther King, assassinated, a civil rights leader that my parents talked about at the dinner table. Think about Watergate, a president resigning in disgrace. I was such a nerdy kid, I watched every minute of the Watergate hearings. But it was also a watershed time for women's rights and LGBTQ rights and other rights. So while all this change is happening today, and it happened back then, it is molding you into a person with a social conscience. Because you can't witness what's happening in the world today and put your head and look in a different direction. You cannot do that. Please don't do that. And so all that made me become a lifelong activist and an agitator, but also gave me great empathy and a sense of understanding. And I am a fearless risk taker. I ran for seats in Congress. I won that seat in Congress 12 years ago yesterday. Everybody said you'll never win as a Democrat in the most Republican district in the state of New York, and I said, yes, I can. So I've never given up. I've always taken on the tough fights, as I want you to do. So I will wrap up with this. The other day I did find my law school graduation picture. It's getting kind of old. Looked at the pictures of everyone in it, all my siblings. There's so many, they're smiling. And the only one who's not with us today was my mom. We lost her to ALS right before I became lieutenant governor. But the lasting impact of my mother, seared in my heart, was the message that we had on our refrigerator growing up, those little stickers. It said, go into the world and do well, but more importantly, go into the world and do good. We put that message on the headstone where my mother's buried because when the grandkids visit Grandma, she wanted that to be part of her story. She's one of the reasons I dedicated my life to public service. She had nothing, abusive home growing up, single parent, mom, her parents, her mom. But all I'm going to say to you, with the world-class education you just received, in this most fascinating city, the most fascinating place on this earth, with this love and support of the people who are here today, with the alumni network of people who want you to succeed, I am telling you right now, my friends, you are ready for the world, and the world is ready for you. Congratulations, class of 2023.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Professor William Lapiana, Dean of Faculty. Thank you. And it is my great privilege to present the Otto L. Walter Distinguished Writing Awards, which are for the most outstanding published scholarly writings by faculty members and graduating students. As I call your name, please stand from your seat to be recognized. For the best article by a full-time faculty member, Rebecca Royfey for Lawyers and the Lies They Tell. For the best article by an adjunct faculty member, Professor Amy Wallace, for Preparing Lawyers for Practice, Developing Cultural Competency, Communication Skills, and Content Knowledge through street law programs. It's my pleasure to congratulate all of you on these well-deserved honors. It's also my great pleasure to present the Student Writing Awards. Again, please stand when I call your name. The Day Division Award goes to Elsie Tan for her article, What Should the Government Have to Prove That a Domestic Abuser Knew to Prevent Them from Possessing a Firearm? And the Day Division Award goes to Sarah Raymond for her article on the case United States v. Lewis. On behalf of the faculty, congratulations to all. It's now my great privilege to invite a member of the Day Division class of 2023, Nermina McKessick, to share a few words. Nermina is the daughter of 2 Bosnian refugees and is proud to be a first-generation college graduate and lawyer. She graduated as valedictorian from St. Francis College with a BA in political science and minors in philosophy and comparative politics. Before attending NYLS, she worked on Wall Street at the law firm of French and Casey, and during the summer of 2022, she interned at the World Bank, where she intends to continue working after graduation. Over the course of her law school career, she has also interned at Lenox Hill Neighborhood House, aiding New York's Housing Authority residents during the aftermath of the pandemic. She has been a teaching assistant for criminal law and restorative justice, a research fellow for the 21st Century Policing Project, and a student attorney in the Elder Law Clinic. Last fall, she was elected president of the Muslim Law Student Association. Welcome, Nermina.
Good afternoon to New York Law School's faculty, staff, Dean Crowell, family, friends, and the graduating class of 2023. My name is Nermina McKessick. It is an honor to be standing here before you today, finally basking in the glory of all we have worked for. I know the journey wasn't easy, but today it all feels worth it. Every late night, every early morning, every assignment, every paper, and every exam. I could not be more proud of myself and of each and every one of you. It feels like we all braved the storm together, and I am very grateful. We started this journey at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, holed up in our bedrooms, our living rooms, some of us set up at our kitchen counters and dining room tables, surrounded by books and the sound of our professors' voices ringing from our laptops. Thank God for Zoom, right? I'd like to assure all of our professors that if you thought being cold called from the comfort of our homes was easier, it definitely was not. It almost feels like it was a terrible, terrible dream, but it wasn't. As 1Ls, we very quickly had to grasp that we were tasked with doing something that is asked of lawyers, and ironically, not of law students. We had to adapt, and that we did. We did lose out on a traditional first-year experience, but we built community nonetheless, online and through our common mission. We definitely struggled. Malcolm X famously said, "There is no better teacher than adversity. Every defeat, every heartbreak, every loss contains its own seed, its own lesson, and by God did we learn." Struggle is a key element in any story. Think back to every book you've ever read. Nothing moves forward in a story except through conflict, through adversity, through struggle. This story is about our class and about our individual and collective struggles. For many of us, the experiences of our families who struggled before us served as inspiration and as a reminder that a better day was on the horizon. I am always mindful that my mother and father had to fight, quite literally, so that I could be here. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, but my story starts in Sarajevo. I am a child of refugees of the Bosnian War. My parents came to the United States in 1995 from Bosnia and Herzegovina in the wake of the siege of their capital city of Sarajevo, fleeing the ethnic cleansing, religious persecution of Muslims, and genocide of our people. Because of that, I've always had a deep understanding of the effects of being persecuted as a consequence of one's religious and ethnic identity. My parents had to leave everything behind, their families, friends, and the lives they had envisioned for themselves. The place they had called home was being ripped apart at the hands of people who were radicalized by pride, greed, and intolerance. But just like Bosnia, we came out on the other side, undefeated. In 2020, I graduated from St. Francis College in Brooklyn, known as the Little College of Big Dreams, as the valedictorian of the class. And now, in 2023, I am graduating from New York Law School. am the first generation in my family to attend college, to receive a professional degree, and I will be the first lawyer in my family. This is what people call the American dream. My family's origin story and the plight of our mother country sparked my passion for the rule of law and the pursuit of justice on a global scale. A key point in creating success is finding your reason for being. My reason is honoring the sacrifices my parents have made. Now, as I graduate law school, honoring their sacrifices requires me to make a difference in the lives of others who seek relief, the way my family once did. We can all reflect on our own families, on their struggles, past and present. It makes our struggles as law students seem small. To struggle is difficult, but to struggle in law school, what a privilege it has been. I'd like to acknowledge the fact that being a Muslim in this country was a very different experience 20 years ago. As a community, we were forced to feel like we had to hide who we were. Growing up, I vividly remember my father explaining to me why it was best not to tell my teachers and classmates that I'm Muslim. I now know that he just wanted to keep me safe. I am aware that as a white Muslim, it has always been easier for me to hide my religious identity. But it isn't so easy for all of us, and many people I know and love have suffered at the hands of Islamophobia, racism, and bigotry. But New York's Muslim community has always persevered, has always risen above. And today, I am delivering this commencement speech as the president of the Muslim Law Student Association. Despite all the challenges, the Muslim Law Student Association has become one of the most well-respected organizations on campus and a model for student leadership, diversity, and inclusivity among other law schools. I know there is still a long journey ahead, but just look how far we've come. I would like to leave you with 3 lessons I have committed to during my law school career. My first lesson is, as Governor Kathy Hochul said as well, have humility. And I don't mean modesty, I mean humility. Lawyers are too often known for taking up all of the air in a room, for being know-it-alls. To quote Malcolm X again, don't be in a hurry to condemn someone because they don't do what you do, or think as you think, or as fast. There was a time when you didn't know what you know today. A humble person recognizes that we are not on this earth to see how important we can become, but to see how much difference we can make in the lives of others. Yes. And in essence, that is the role of a lawyer. So when you get, give. When you learn, teach. Pay it forward. My second lesson is, don't forget to care for others. People often associate lawyers with being focused solely on winning and on succeeding, sometimes at any cost. Don't be the person that proves them right. Do not be the person that forgets that your advocacy has a broader context and impact. Maya Angelou put it simply when she said, if you find it in your heart to care for somebody else, then you will have succeeded. Indeed, it is not enough to be well-intentioned. To achieve real and meaningful justice, action must beat intention every time. Move in the world with grace. Be kind, be compassionate, and employ empathy. Finally, don't forget to care for yourselves. A healthy work-life balance is the unicorn of our profession. Lawyering is emotionally taxing. The pressure can cause burnout and can cause you to forget why you chose this in the first place. I was on a flight a few weeks ago, listening to the pre-flight safety instructions when I heard, secure your own oxygen mask before helping others. It's not that profound, but it's important. Audre Lorde famously said, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare." The truth is, if we lose ourselves, many others will lose too. We as a profession must start valuing wellness and prioritizing mental health. It is high time that we embrace the idea that self-care is simply securing our own oxygen mask before assisting others. So strive for greatness, but stay sane in the process. Ask a lot of yourselves, but be reasonable. Remember to be good to yourselves so that you can be good at what you do. To New York Law School's graduating class of 2023, I wish you the best of luck and of life. Yes, the tassel was worth the hassle. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nermina. I am now pleased to announce the names of the finalists for the Trustees Prize for highest cumulative grade point average. We will award a prize to the top day division student and the top evening division student among both February graduates and June or September candidates. The final awards will be made after all grades are completed in June. So I ask the finalists stand from their seats as their names are called and applaud them all at the end. For February graduates, there is one finalist, Nicholas Negron, in the day division. Among the June or September candidates, the finalists are, in the day division, Courtney Arena, Ellie Bergen, Nicholas Negron, and Catherine Vass. In the evening division, Tara Holzer and Corey Malagos. Congratulations to all.
Good afternoon. We'll now present the Alfred L. Rose Award for Excellence. I ask that the recipients stand from their seats as their names are called. Recipients of this highest honor are selected by the law school faculty and senior administrators, and the award is given to students who have both excelled academically and contributed greatly to the life of the school through leadership and example. This year, there were 4 winners. Kimberly Barber, Reina Mataret, Michael Genuino, and Tara Holzer. Congratulations. Very proud now to introduce our second student speaker, representing our evening division graduates, Michael Genuino. He is a first-generation lawyer and proud member of the New York Law School Law Review. He graduated from Binghamton University with a BA in History and Philosophy, Politics, and Law. During his time at NYLS, Michael served as a legal scholarship editor of the Law Review, a teaching assistant for Professor Susan Abraham's evidence course, and a member of the Dean's Leadership Council. Outside of NYLS, he served as the founding supervisor of the body-worn camera unit at the Richmond County District Attorney's Office. In the fall, he'll be joining Cadwalader, Wickersham, and Taft LLP as an associate in the Real Estate Finance Group. Michael?
To the Board of Trustees, Dean Crowell, the New York Law School faculty and administration, and our many distinguished guests. I am Mike Genuino, and on behalf of the Evening Division class of 2023, thank you for being here today. Once today's celebration ends, we will each receive a diploma declaring that we've successfully completed the requirements for the Juris Doctor degree. For most law graduates, this diploma will hang on an office wall and serve as a daily reminder of the great responsibility that lawyers have to do justice. But for the class of 2023, and particularly the evening students, I know we will also look upon those diplomas as the cover page of an unexpected law school journey during one of the most trying, chaotic, and tragic times of modern history. And we will look upon them as a call to action, particularly given the enormity of problems the world is now facing, problems we could have never fathomed in the fall of 2019. We are the next generation of lawyers whose shoulders must bear the heaviest burden to put our democracy and our legal system back on the right course. Allow me to step back to the fall of 2019. Picture me, the 1L, an Italian-American from Staten Island, working a 9-to-5 shift at the Staten Island District Attorney's Office, where I served as a supervisor of the body camera unit. After work, I'd take the Staten Island ferry to Manhattan, hop over to the 1 train, and make it to NYLS in time each night for night classes. Work was going well, school was going well, life was going well. Enter COVID-19. On March 4th, 2020, everything changed. I received an email from Dean Crowell informing us that NYLS was one of the first schools in the state with a potential COVID scare. School would be closed the rest of that week and again the following week for spring break. But as those 2 weeks unfolded, the rest of the world would begin to close. And instead of coming back to campus, we would resume classes remotely on Zoom. My tiny apartment was quickly transformed into an all-in-one office and classroom for a single 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. shift each day. My dog, Hennessy, the cutest Shih Tzu in the world, he became my new study partner. Not so bad. But soon thereafter, COVID would take on a rather devastating presence in my life. It claimed the life of my beloved 90-year-old grandfather, who, while in the hospital for unrelated reasons, contracted COVID just 1 day before he was set to be released. Soon thereafter, COVID struck again, this time taking the life of a close friend and coworker who was just 30 years old and a newlywed. Over the coming months, the lives of many others I knew would be stolen in similar fashion. And while the COVID pandemic infected our lives, we began to struggle with a number of social, economic, and political tragedies. In particular, police violence. Every day seemingly brought a new report of Black and brown citizens dying at the hands of those sworn to protect them, including George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. As officer-involved shootings were alarmingly on the rise, so was the public's demand for police accountability, something I was particularly concerned with given my role at the DA's office. Add to this a nationwide racial reckoning, a profound housing crisis, a rise in homelessness, and polarizing political discourse. All of this came at a time when we should have been united against our common enemies, the virus, police violence, and misinformation, and not divided as a result of them. And just 6 days into 2021, as we began our second semester of constitutional law, our nation's capital was overrun by insurrectionists seeking to undermine the rule of law and prevent the certification of a legitimate presidential election. More crises would come internationally, as our ally, Ukraine, would be invaded by Russian forces in a still ongoing war that has killed and displaced thousands of people and threatens world peace and global economic stability. Some of us began to question whether our once bright futures were going dark. But, as famed French author Victor Hugo penned in Les Miserables, even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Class of 2023, that sun has risen, and today it sits at its highest point. Today, we emerge as the next generation of defenders of our democracy. That is, the misery and the struggles of these last few years, they've offered us extraordinary opportunities to embrace the responsibility of becoming an attorney and to effectuate justice. For me, my unique position in the body camera unit enabled me to apply my legal education towards addressing the challenges of police misconduct and towards fostering respect, transparency, and trust between the police and the public. Over the course of the last 4 years, I am proud to say that I've helped outfit most law enforcement officers in Staten Island with the body cameras that will keep them accountable and keep our communities safe. Now, some of our opportunities are still forthcoming. In the fall, I'll be joining the first-year associate class of the Real Estate Finance Group at Cadwalader, Wickersham, and Taft. There, I intend to tackle some of the very issues that make our housing crisis the multifaceted monster that it is. But no matter the path we take, each of us will be faced with unique opportunities to embrace the responsibility of lawyering and continue to fight for equality, justice, and democracy. Now, at the beginning of this speech, I said that our diplomas will serve as our call to action. Class of 2023, we're being called into action right away. The chaos of these last few years, it requires our immediate presence on the front lines to defend against those things that threaten justice, threaten equality, and threaten democracy. But who better to lead the charge than us? This battle-tested, relentless class of 2023. Having endured these last few years alongside you, I'm confident in our ability to succeed. But as we set forth to fight these battles, we should not forget those who we relied upon to get us here today. Our fellow classmates, our loved ones, the NYLS faculty, they've supported us over these last few years, and they will support us again going forward. I'd like to take a moment to recognize my own supporting cast. Mom, Dad, my siblings, Sean and Steph, my girlfriend, Serena. Were it not for your unwavering love and support, I wouldn't be standing here today. And of course, I have to recognize my dog, Hennessy, who, so by my count, Hennessy's accumulated enough remote credits to graduate alongside me. So, Dean Crowell, how do I go about getting him a diploma? But in all seriousness, I am proud to have weathered the storm of these last few years alongside all of you. As I take the Staten Island ferry to Cadwalader each morning as a newly minted lawyer, the symbolism of passing the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor will never be lost on me. What the future has in store for us is left to be seen. But our time at NYLS has proven that this brilliant, this relentless, and this unbreakable class is capable of rising to any challenge. The journey ahead will be turbulent, but our mission could not be worthier. There is no one, absolutely no one, more ready for this moment than us. Thank you and congratulations.
You know, I have to say, I think he's already mastered the art of swagger. It takes a lot of nerve to ask for a degree for your dog. And no doubt a lot of us got by with a little Hennessy of our own, maybe not a Shih Tzu. But as New York's law school, we do things a little differently, and I am proud to present a diploma to Hennessy Genuino. And like his doggy dad, he has graduated with a concentration in real estate, but a concentration also in the law of leash hold interests. Except he's getting the degree of Juris Doctor. And he is Shih Tzu cum laude. to please. All right, I now want to recognize our President's Medal honorees. This award is given to the law school's most accomplished community members. Our honorees today are Benjamin DaCosta and Sally Ann Harding. First, Benjamin DaCosta, a member of the class of 1975. Ben DaCosta is a nationally recognized aviation industry leader. He started his illustrious career as a Port Authority lawyer and served as general manager of two of our nation's busiest airports, Newark International Airport and Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, which is a global hub. During his tenure, the annual economic impact of the airport on the Atlanta region was $24 billion, and 56,000 people had jobs directly connected to the airport, including 1,000 in the city's Department of Aviation. Ben negotiated the approval of and oversaw completion of a $1 billion fifth runway, began construction of a new international terminal, and pushed to fix security line logjams after 9/11 through the development of a modern baggage scanning system. In 2007, he was named Airport Director of the Year by a leading industry journal. Ben attended New York Law School's evening division while working full-time as a legal assistant at Port Authority. He was a founding member of the New York Law School Black Law Students Association, BALSA, which this year celebrated its 50th anniversary. And in addition to being one of its founding members, he was also a BALSA president in his final year. As an alumnus, he has been a speaker at the school, he's hosted events, and in 2021, he was the BALSA honoree and has been a generous supporter of both the BALSA Alumni Scholarship and Leadership Funds. Ben is a sheer inspiration, and his career illustrates how a law degree can be like a jet engine. Without question, his law degree was pivotal to his resounding success in leading and navigating one of the world's most heavily regulated industries, and consequently, by building one of the world's largest and most significant airports, he helped facilitate the growth of the global economy. Therefore, today, New York Law School honors Benjamin DaCosta with our prestigious President's Medal for his extraordinary career as a lawyer, a leader, and senior executive in the aviation industry, which is essential to a thriving global economy. His sincere dedication to helping new generations of students succeed inspires the entire community and represents the best of our alumni and their impact. Ben very much wanted to be here today, but at the last minute, circumstances beyond his control prevented his ability to attend. Ben, I know that you and Millie and other members of your family are watching us here live. We wish you continued good health, and we look forward to presenting you the President's Medal in person sometime soon. Now our second President's Medal recipient. Katie, will you join me at the stage? There you are. Today we honor one of the most special and important members of our NYLS family, Sally Harding. She served New York Law School with distinction for 32 years, retiring in 2022 as Dean of Students. On December 22nd, 2021, Sally and her family's life were forever changed when she was diagnosed with ALS. Sally is watching the live stream today, and we are joined by her wonderful and devoted daughter, Katie, who herself graduated Tuesday from the University of Rhode Island with a nursing degree. Due to the pandemic and Sally's diagnosis, this year's graduates did not receive the full benefit of Sally's unmatched wisdom, empathy, and care, and that's truly unfortunate. For 32 years, generations of students relied on her to be their anchor as they navigated the incredible and challenging experience of law school. Despite her condition, she displayed an indescribable courage and dedication and did as much as she could to advise students during one of the most challenging times in the school's history during the pandemic. Sally served her entire time in the Office of Student Life, where she devoted all of her energy and efforts toward the success and well-being of the school's extraordinarily diverse students. Throughout her tenure, she served as an essential sounding board, advisor, and partner to all of her colleagues, especially me. I continue to rely on her unmatched understanding of the school's students, an understanding that helped us establish the most advanced, innovative, and exhaustive set of student services at any law school in the nation. Bestowing the President's Medal is just one way for us to honor 32 years of Sally's unmatched impact on countless students and for creating the welcoming and supportive community that makes NYLS unique. Recently, we put together a wonderful book of memories and pictures of Sally from her colleagues, and I wrote her a note, which I'd like to read now. Dear Sally, Shel Silverstein's The Giving Tree is a metaphorical story about a boy's relationship with a tree that gives everything she has over many years to support the growth and development of the boy. Sally, you are NYLS's most colorful giving tree. You gave all your energy, love, and support to advance the careers and lives of thousands upon thousands of law students over 32 years so that they could join the profession and have a profound impact on the world around them. Your legacy is their continued impact at full scale. Indeed, Sally, you are an irreplaceable force at NYLS who forever changed our institution and made each and every one of us better people and professionals in the process. And on a deeply personal note, working with you for so many years was an incredible privilege and sheer delight, particularly as a dean who marches to the beat of a very different drum than others who came before me. You are the best dean of students any dean or student could ask for. With much love, admiration, and immense gratitude, Anthony. Katie, please join me as we present the President's Medal for you to give to your beloved mother, our Dean of Students, Sally Harding. And we also will give you the book. Present to you this wonderful book we made. The graphics are actually part of graphics that were once on the portal in an area of the portal that was known as Ask Sally. Ask Sally, it was great. You want to say anything? All right. I didn't know if she wanted to say anything. Her mom is watching. You know, when you ask Sally something, she gives you not only the right answer, but she always has so many wonderful perspectives to offer. All right, and congratulations, Katie, on your degree. We know it's going to be a wonderful career. All right, we will now present the Kathleen Grimm Medal for Distinguished Public Service. In 2014, Kathleen Grimm, an alumna and trustee of New York Law School, was awarded the President's Medal at Commencement. In February 2015, after she passed away, New York Law School established this award in honor of her inspiring leadership, her distinguished service to the law school, and her long public service career. Kathleen was one of New York City's most dedicated public servants, having served 5 city mayors, 1 state comptroller, 7 city commissioners, and 4 city schools chancellors. Today's honoree is Delara Guverson. She embodies that same commitment to public service. Delara is a first-generation immigrant and the first in her family to become a lawyer. Prior to law school, she was committed to public service by volunteering at community organizations, providing mentorship to high school students and children in foster care, and working as a behavioral assistant for children with special educational needs. She came to law school wanting to continue working in public service and has taken every opportunity to honing the skills and experience necessary to be an effective advocate. Since her first semester of 1L year, she has been working for the Courtroom Advocates Project and became a coordinator for the program at MYLS during her third year. She has also participated in the one-year Juvenile Rights Law Clinic at MYLS and interned at the New York State Office of Children and Family Services, the Manhattan DA's office, and the New Jersey Attorney General's office. She's a pro bono scholar and Equal Justice Fellow, and has spent the last 3 months working full-time at a nonprofit organization and providing legal services to low-income women in New York City. After graduation, she will serve as a clerk for a judge on the Appellate Division of the New Jersey Superior Court. Delara, please join me at the podium. This medal symbolizes your commitment to public service, and we know you will become an extraordinary leader and represent this school well always. Thank you. Congratulations. You can put this on. All right. Thank you, Delara. Now it is my great privilege to introduce E. Drew Britcher, the class of 1984. He is the president of the New York Law School Alumni Association and a member of our board of trustees. Drew?
Charles Plum, a naval aviator, flew 75 successful missions before he was shot down. He survived because the parachute that he had worked and floated him to safety. Over the years that you've been in school, someone's been packing your parachutes. Whoever that is, over the next day, week, month, or year, take a moment to say thank you to them. Those of you who are part of this class should know John Kennedy once said that a rising tide raises all boats. The success of those before you is part of your success. Your success is part of theirs. And your success when you leave will be part of the next class and the next class and the next class. So on behalf of the 130 classes before you and the 20,000 members of the alumni, and on behalf of my fellow officers and board members of the Alumni Association, welcome to the New York Law School Alumni.
Thank you, Drew. We will now begin the presentation of degree candidates with our master's program. Professor Ann Thomas will present our candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in Taxation.
Thank you, Dean LaPiana. It is my pleasure to ask our 2023 candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in Taxation to come forward and accept their scrolls. Domenico Spino. Congratulations. Thank you. Clinton Sands. Congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Thomas. And now, as we present our JD degree candidates, I'd like to ask those of you whose degrees will be presented by family members to please rise. Our Associate Dean and Vice President of Institutional Advancement, Jeffrey Becker, will be reading those names.
Thank you, Dean LaPiana. It's my great pleasure to welcome our alumni, to wish their family members in the JD class a very special congratulations. I will now present our legacy students who will be receiving their JD degrees, and joining us today are Alexa Arzano, who will receive her degree from her uncle, Mark Campitello, class of 1985. Catherine Condon, who will receive her degree from her father, Brian, class of 1995. Walter Holton, who will receive his degree from his mother, Lynn Holton, class of 1984. Bradley Kearse, who will receive his degree from his mother, Diana Kearse, class of 1979. Nicole Mallon, who will receive her degree from her father, Dennis Mallon, class of 1968. Maxwell Popkin, who will receive his degree from his father, Michael Popkin, class of 1993. Madison Seelman, who will receive her degree from her sister, Jessica Petrossi, class of 2013. Juliana Schenker, who will receive her degree from her cousin, Lauren Edelman, class of 2010. Aiden Smith, who will receive his degree from his uncle Colin Smith, class of 1986. Congratulations to you all. Professor Susan Abraham will now continue the presentation of candidates.
Rana Matured. Tara Holzer. Kimberly Barber. I don't have a card. Michael Genuino. Nermina Markusek. John Lopez. Nelson Melgar Martinez. Delara Guverchin. Elsie Tan. Sarah Raymond. Courtney Arena. Ellie Bergen. Corey Mavlios. Nicholas Negron. Catherine Vask. Malka Amar. Alec Feldman. Gabrielle Salia. Ishra Razak. Anthony DeZeo. Christopher Rivera. Dante Bellardita Fernandez. Kaylee Schrupp. Sam Corey. Pietro Franco Rijo. Brianna Marie Jogger. Fabiana Machirulo. Rosa Antonio Di Maria. Dimitrios Patelis. Emily Boudou. Stephanie Corolla. Lauren Morrow. Serena Rampersad. Olivia Fulgine. Francesca Del Maestro.
Delaney Hamill. Chloe Malkowski. Nadiv Barak. Corin Friday. Hannah Curley. Bridget Killen. Matthew Palisano. Nicole Kay. Antonio Melchiona. McKenna Mowry. Adriana Santana. Shante Mercurius. Chiara LaFiazza. Alexandra Menninger. Bianca Shatanako. Diasha Jane. Ali Sue Brown. Natila Loshin. Caitlin McGuire. Brianna Titus. Adriana Plasianica. Candice Riggs. Marie Meltzer. Daniela Stegagova. Catherine Venetia. Julie Wetzel. Irina Katz. Thank you, Alan.
Edward Rose. Celestial Renee Rubenstein. Melissa Racco. Alyssa Jordan Canova. Elizabeth Ati. Keith Olson. Thomas Barranca. Nancy Zhang. Brianna Francis. Callie Catacasinas. Doriana LaRusso. Kyle Moore. Shane Messing. Christian Del Rosario. Alessandro Esposito. Jordan Abisroar. Kiera Latham. Natalie Shazul. Ariel Ahrad. Claudia Toth. Barbara Smith. Rachel List. Emma Tice. Eric John Vetterline. Zebulon Miller. Ireland Clancy. Katrina Carey. Kayla Brooks. Alexandria Lynn Natelli. Samantha Sheehan. Ashlyn Pendergraft. Randy Haddad. Heather Schumacher. Jordan Stockpole. Haley Pellegrino.
Imran Jabbour. Victoria Okraszewski. Rhea Lobo. Julia Ismail. Shira Khatun. Lisa Burns. Patrick Joseph Pardo. Caroline Cohen. Haley Ray Wallets. AJ Lease. Kendra Quiwazance. Lance Shopowich. Caitlin Parisi. Paulina Marino. Olivia Whalen. David Steinberg. Cameron Klein. Emily Ruiz. Yevgenia Kutina. Congratulations. Brett Mom. Michael Katani. Alexander Baum. Corey Majorana. Brandon Smith. Leonidas Svenning. Jorge Castro. Vincent Filippini. Amy Eisenhofer. Shama Puranik.
Josephine Porkso. Amelia Barrios. Catherine Saka. Emily Rose Carlton. Christopher T. Lease. Wolfram Ott. Joseph Ardauki. Keong Kim. Jamila Nicholas. Taylor Lene Moore. Shannon Bartlett. Marley Mios. Gabriela Carasa. Laura Bali Mahabir. Ronnie Brongman. Mandel Dawkins. Arlen Moore. Andrew Holloway. Madeline Boza. Tufa Begum. Carolyn Shea. Hanjin Liu. Daniel Ahmed. Artur Alonson. Kevin Kelleher. Craig Copy. Jacob Coleman. Hunter Hinden. Drew Least. Amela Badramovich. Sophia Lee. Tessa Olmstead. Alana Pepe. Mia Foot. Fable Avison. Liliana Shalansky.
Wyatt James Wilson. Caitlin Matrano. Michael Joseph Manconi. Natalia Carnero. Gurpratap Singh. Joseph DeChico. Tanvir Ashraf. Rachel Musamechi. Catherine De La Rosa Gumarin. Daniel Glicker. Jacob George. Kevin Frank. Joseph Calandrillo. Stephen Frank Akipinti. Maximilian Renzado. Elizabeth Isa Neshiwat. Rashai McDermott. Anna Contreras Mondragon. Austin Laborit. Martha Kostiok. Emma Malicki.
Robert De Benedetto. Courtney Canavan. Marlo Mitchell. Matthew Iannone. Catherine Muranga. Alexia Rose Senque. Adam Hirsch. Melanie Carpenzano. Alexandra Adams. Max Skidelsky. Isabella Young. Simon Bentolila. Brittany Chadi Nazmiel. Celine Einachi. Nicole Veidelman. Zachary Koenig. Christopher Charles Green. Paige Piazza. Yasmin Boto. Claire Marie Blomberg. Jason Messenger.
Blake Oglenski. Jonah Brodsky. Ryan Futzenreuter. Nicholas Wyatt. Cassiani Chrysanthopoulos. John Carnevale. Joseph Principato. Andrew Bate. Sarah Dabes. Ashley Sternberg. Amanda Marie Spoto. Anthony Geramonti. Nicholas Matsangos. Haneen Hegazi. Ronia Khalifa. That's it?
Thomas Ingloff. Emily Weirty. Carolyn Caresi. Ralph Shaman. Mendel Denberg. Brett Baker. Carlos Rojas. Nicholas Hom. Peter Carlino. Gianfranco Spinelli. Alexander Pippernis. Patrick Cocosiello. Katya Mingov. Jade Wiener. Alyssa Poley. Susanna Sosa. Christina Elena Mill. Ellie Sanders. Michael Angelo Tashiro. Adam Curto. Daniel Uresco. Paul Charles Gargiulo. John Azato. Angelina Demona.
Abby Ford. Emily Sforza. Ksenia Mishkota. Carol Shripsa. Daniel Belowski. Sarah Elizabeth Cobble. Ronald Alfaro Espinoza. Karen Liz Gomez. Amanda DeVito. Kelsey Reed. Faisal Asale. Natalia Talia. Kirkovich, sorry. Ashley Smith. Rupinder Raj. Kavita Arjun. Thomas Santella. Lyra Lacan. Tiffany Sabal. Dylan Hovlock. Andy Parada. Grace Teresa Agalalos.
Congratulations, graduates. Huge. We are incredibly proud of you and wish you every bit of luck and success you all deserve. I'm now going to take this moment to quickly thank our very hardworking staff who made today's flawless and beautiful ceremony possible, including Frank Chiappetta, Kiona Donaldson, Shani Darby, Mary Sue Daniels, and many, many others. Now, a few things to make this official. I'm going to ask our wonderful chair of our Board of Trustees, Arthur Abbey, a graduate of the class of 1959, to come to the podium.
Well, to the class of 2023, what I say is why you all are here today. Thank you, Dean Crowell, for a very impressive graduation. I've been to so many, and this ranks up there with the very best. So congratulations, class of 2023. On behalf of the board and the staff and the administration and the teachers, we wish you the very best with your legal careers. Now, by the power vested in me by the Department of Education of the State of New York and the Board of Trustees of New York Law School, I confer upon all of you who have fulfilled the requirements the degrees of Master of Laws and of Juris Doctor with all the rights, privileges, and duties thereunto appertaining. Congratulations to every one of you, class of 2023. Thank you.
Yep. All right. This really is a village. What a village here. Okay. I want to thank all of you for joining us and sharing in this truly wonderful occasion. I have a few little closing reminders. Before we end the ceremony, I just want to ask our guests not to block the aisles as the graduates recede, and then they can leave. I also want to just mention that we lost a music icon yesterday, Tina Turner, and we thought we would all leave this great hall with a bit of an homage to Tina, but also something that's very fitting for this class. So without any ado, once again, I bid you all congratulations to our wonderful class of 2023. We are proud of you. You are the best, the very best.
I need you, my heart's on fire. You come to me wild and wild. You come to me, give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means. And it can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it strong. You say